We have Michael Murray and Meredith Murray with us tonight to introduce us to the Wildcat Youth Athletic Program. Uh, Michael, Meredith, welcome to our meeting. Sorry we can't meet you in person, and we'll turn it over to you for a little introduction.
And no problem. We also have Joe Palaya with us, who is the vice president of our organization as well. To give you an idea of who we are a youth-based football and cheer organization. The children in our organization are from kindergarten through sixth grade. We're a 100% volunteer, community-based organization, and all the children who participate in our organization belong to, are within the O&J Roberts School District. We have over 34 of the families that are part of our organization are actual residents of North Coventry Township. Our program, we like to believe, is a feeder into the O&J football program. What we'd like to do is partner with the communities that are part of our organization and see if we can have a well-run, positive experience for the children within our community. Through the years we have grown. At one time we did use the lighted field facilities for practice at O&J Roberts. Their sports programs have grown themselves, and those fields were no longer available for us because they're using them for their own practice for their organization. We do use their stadium for our home games, which are on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Once we weren't able to use the O&J lighted fields for practice in the evenings, we had rented fields over at the Hill School, who allowed us to utilize that. I believe we used their fields for about 2 years. And then with COVID and all, most of these schools have now shut down their facilities to outside organizations and are now holding them for their own teams during these crisis times. We did lease your Kenilworth Park for the months of August, September, and October for our practice. We have been practicing there since August 9th, 4 days a week, which was our camp time, where we were running Monday through Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. As we get into the season, which our first games start this week, we will only be running practices on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursdays there. Still trying to hold, within the range of 6 to 8, so families have time to get home from work, grab something to eat, and get their kids over to practice. What we're here asking tonight is the ability to put up some temporary lights in the park during the month of October towards the end of our practice. As you can see, it's getting dark quick. Right now, we are still able to practice without the lights real close up to 8 o'clock. It would seem that within the next week or two, we won't be able to stay there without any lights that late anymore. We could adjust a bit down, but what we're hoping is to be allowed to put some lights in the park just for less than an hour on those Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays to allow them to finish out their practices and get everyone out of there safely, and be in a good partnership with the township for providing these youth sports services. Up until last week, I believe I checked every day, have we heard any complaints? Was there any issues going on? And up until I believe it was last Wednesday, there were no complaints. Last Wednesday, I do believe a resident up in the Grandview Circle area had complained about folks parking on the streets over there. That was the first week that, we did not have our flag football group or younger cheerleaders there during that time frame, and I think it was a little confusion on a couple nights last week. Sergeant Zinger had come out. We worked with him and prepared this map that's on your screen right now, and within 24 hours had that out to our parents to tell them where they can and can't park. We have been since that night been putting out cones and no parking signs to try to keep the people out of the areas that we do not want parking. And we want to be good neighbors. We want to partner with the township and try to have a good program for the kids of our community, and always take welcome suggestions, advice, and whatever recommendations others have. I believe we have some other slides. I don't know if you want to discuss some of them, Meredith.
Sure. Well, we first wanted to say again, thank you for your time. Coventry youth football has been around for a while now, but we've really grown, as Mike had explained. But one of the things that we've done is we really focus this on community. And not only do we preach that on the field, but we act upon that outside of just practice in the game days. So last year, I know that there was a request out for individuals to come and help the North Coventry Food Pantry to get the food packed and over to the middle school and high school to be distributed to those individuals in need of those food products while they are working, educating from home, and bringing those backpack programs over. Several of our parents in our organization contributed to that and went week after week to help provide that transportation. We've also been very highly involved in the O&J Roberts Safe Trick or Treat Night, making sure that our participants in our program not only are there participating, but the parents are helping support and communicate the importance of safety and responsibility in our community. We love to promote our area. Last year, you may or may not have seen a news broadcast that was done on 6 ABC. It was also picked up by a couple other local organizations about some of the kids in our program, but specifically one individual who we were able to provide one of his dreams, which was to be able to run a ball in for a touchdown. So at the end of one of our games, we were able to work with both teams to make sure that they understood what is feasible for this individual. And we were able to fulfill that goal and aspiration that he had. He is one of our local elementary school students. We've also are very big about family. Our organization isn't just about when you played for us, it's forever playing for us, even if we've lost you. One of young individuals in our community was lost to childhood cancer, but his name, his number still lives on. His parents still are part of our organization, and several of the individuals, as you see in this smaller picture here, are actually still in the program. They are in their final year, but his number has been retired, and we continuously make sure that our community remembers those who love football and cheer and want to be a part of a positive experience. And that really leads us to our core values. We don't just say it, we preach it. And we remind the individuals, and this is just a copy of a communication that went out last week after we had our formal first practices with everybody, and really getting us prepared for this upcoming season opener, is always remember that you're representing our community and be a good positive light within the community. When you see this logo that you see in their backgrounds, you're not only representing us, you're representing your team, you're representing your parents. So we preach respect, we preach responsibility, and we definitely encourage and expect sportsmanship from our members. So it's just a way for us to know, for you to know a little bit more about who we are and what it means to us. And as Mike said, we are feeder programs into the high school and middle school for both cheer and football. We have several actual coaches within those programs whose children are a part of ours and are part of our coaching staff. And with the cheerleading, we've got the upcoming youth night on Friday night, where our team members will actually run up on the field with the varsity cheer and football squads to represent that we are one family, we are one team. So as Mike had explained, we have upcoming practices. We are practicing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with football. Our flag and cheer team are there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So those are our high volume nights. Again, we are maintaining and monitoring the parking, making sure that is a one-time incident and that we continue to be good neighbors. And we've checked, actually, you may have heard from some of our neighbors that are in the program. A lot of them wanted to come and tell you how much they appreciate our program being here in North Coventry and no longer outside of our community, but really utilizing the services that we have here. It's a huge help for parents because it's quicker and easier to get to. It's a very secure location, so they feel safe if they just drop off and go and come back. It's an area, and it's really been a positive impact to the Coventry Youth Organization as a whole. So those lights, I have Joe Palaya, our Vice President, on the line with me to kind of give you a little bit of information about the lights. But I do want to note before we go into those details that when we did for 2 years utilize that space at the Hill, we had a zero issue on light impact. We were working with them on maintenance, moving the lights on landscaping days, but we didn't have a single issue on safety or usage of those or misusage. And that field did butt up as well to a residential area. So Joe, if you can kind of touch base on some of the questions I want to propose to you, what you might ask, but then I want to open the discussion to any questions that you have. So Joe, can you tell us a little bit about the lights and how we maintain them?
So thank you, Mike and Meredith, for having me on, and thank you, North Coventry, for hopefully allowing us to have the time to discuss. But basically, what we have here is your Kenilworth Park, and we've laid it out by grade here in the field. But we would be looking to bring in the regular monitor 3-wheel lights that stand and roll up and roll down. They go up about 15 feet up into the air. They are controlled by myself and Rich Nathan, the president of our program, as far as how to operate them. Most of the ones that are rented are a push button start. It's just like starting up a generator. It's a push button, you start it, you close it, and it's secured and locked. These lights are also, the wheels do lock as well with a chain. So from a theft standpoint, unless they are coming in with a tow truck, they will not be able to be moved. They are very easily moved. What we have done in the past with the Hill School, we would it just happened to be their grass cutting days are Friday at the Hill School. We would actually every Thursday after practice move these lightings, 6 feet forward or 6 foot backwards, to ensure that there was no movement, that the grass cutting company had to get off of their mowers to handle them. And once again, there was never an issue there. These lights are insured by our program as well as the company that we do the rental from. So North Coventry, Kenilworth is not responsible for any of that. That is all fully under the Coventry Youth Football Organization. Other than that, we would be looking for at least a light. It's a 3-pack. Some of the newer ones are a 4-pack that, once again, can be moved, but the lighting systems would be inside of these squares to provide the light, which would shine down. There will be no lighting facing towards any of the residents up on the north side or the south side down by Flag. Like I said, it would be 15 feet in the air shining straight down. the goal here is, yes, to, sorry about that. The goal here is to, turn them on for a short period of time, to get the kids through the rest of their practice, and then they would be shut off and lowered upon us leaving for the day. And practices will remain Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, like I said, 6 to 8 p.m. Other than that, is there one more slideshow to this one, Meredith?
Yes, it's our thank you closure slide, but I did want to open it for any questions for the members of the committee to say, do you have any concerns? Is there anything that we can answer for you that would help you make your decision?
Hey, this is Vince. Can I ask you, are you leaving them on the fields the whole week? I'm sorry, or do you plan that you're going to store them somewhere off the field?
No,
They will remain there. Basically, we don't own them. A rental company will bring them in approximately the beginning of October, and they will remain there until we are done with them. And the goal would be to keep them, the wheels locked and secured, so they could not be, moved by any outsiders. They would not be put in any locations that would, I guess, interfere with general use of the park itself while we're not there practicing. I would gather that they would, you're looking at these boxes, they would probably be along the edges, around the perimeter, shining down on the field areas that we would be using. I wouldn't anticipate that there would be, if you're looking at this where it says 5th grade in the middle, I don't think there would be one in the middle there. They would be around the edges where everything else was. The 6th grade one, can you go back?
Sorry.
Where 6th grade is, that sits up a little higher. I would anticipate that the back of the lights would face that neighborhood, so there wouldn't be any issue with them seeing any of the light shining in their direction up there and shining down right down on where it says 6th. Along the other perimeter, there really is only, where we're practicing, there's really only a house or two over there. When you get deeper into the park, there are no houses.
I'm familiar with that. My concern was other rentals, other people using the fields. Like on Sundays, we have the Health Kids Running Series that goes to the middle of October. I think Denise, or not Denise, Cynthia, your kids, do we run across any of this? Or I mean, I don't know if the lights pose a problem for other people using the fields.
I think that they probably would work around the lights, and based on what he's saying, I don't see that would be an issue or a conflict.
All right. And if they were in a particular location, it looked like it may interfere with, I guess, a particular activity. We could I mean, it's a big park. I mean, I was actually shocked how much space is out there and how well it's accommodated. When they first told us we were going there, I was skeptical, but you look out there with all the teams there, and no one's on top of each other. There's still big open spaces there, even with all of us there. So I think it very easily, if for some reason there was a location issue, that they could be moved somewhere that would not interfere. And I would say the goal is to keep them around the perimeter and leave the central areas open as possible for use, not only by us, but
But they won't be on the walking path, right?
No.
No, absolutely not. So
I'm sorry, I missed the very beginning, and I apologize for that. It's Colleen Skelton. Did you mention how many lights that you would be using?
we anticipate that with this setup, we potentially would use 6. It would, we know we definitely need one up here by the 6th grade to be able to shine down. We anticipate one over by the cheer section and flag, so on each end, and potentially where we might need a 6th from a 5th is if we found that afterwards we had one area that needed a little bit more light because of the spacing out, potentially over on the other side of the 5th grade, maybe in front of the pavilion or those tennis courts, that might be it. So we figured it was a max of 6.
So
But
you're
again, this is
talking,
the conversation.
okay, so you're saying 1 for each of the grades between 5 and 6 in front of each of those sections?
More like corners. So in the
Corners,
bottom
okay.
section, there's going to be 4 corners, but I
Okay.
guesstimate we may need something in the middle up by those tennis courts. And then the 6th one or the final one would be up in the 6th grade because that is a raised area. And
Right.
again, it would be in the back corner, not on the path. And we would, if you let us know when the mowers are coming, if we have a designated area you need us to move them to, we can move them in preparation for that, or even that running club. If we find out that on Sunday, the running club it's interfering with any of their area, then we'll make sure that you tell us where you need us to adjust them and we'll get it done.
Okay, and you said it's a push start button like a generator. What about noise? If you're talking 5 or 6 of these running, and just the second part of the question, you said for a short period of time. What's a short period of time? When do you actually close your practice? When it's dark? 10 minutes after? 8:30?
Again, I guess you missed that.
I
part.
did, I'm sorry.
That's
So our
okay, Colleen.
practices are currently 6 to 8, and we've been doing that, right up to this week. Been able to, it's still light enough at 8 to complete the practice, and everyone's pretty much out of there by 8:15. We anticipate having, well, again, it costs money to run these things, so we're going to have them on as little as possible, and
Okay.
really only to supplement once it's too dark to continue practice, and hopefully finish out by 8 o'clock and get everyone out of there safely.
And what
The
about
early-
the noise level?
The earliest they've ever went on roughly was about roughly 6:55 according to our records. So, and that was more towards the 3rd and 4th week of October. Most of the time they don't go on until around 7:15, which then would be off by 8 o'clock. From a noise end of things, it's basically like starting a generator of, I don't know, if like a 1500 watt generator that runs. They're not extremely noise and loud, but yes, when you do have a few of them together,
Yeah,
but
6
it's
of them,
nothing.
that's going to be a little bit noisy.
But it's very
We
well
haven't-
spread out. That's the one thing.
Yeah,
And
they won't be on top of each other, and from running practices and a group next to them, I mean, it's not a loud noise.
More of a hum.
it is a hum.
It's
And-
kind of a low hum, and it isn't overbearing. Like we're coaching the kids, we're giving them direction. We're not yelling over these machines as we're doing it. So I wouldn't anticipate that any of the houses in the area would hear them. And again, if for some reason they were in a corridor where they were echoing or something, we could move them to another location.
And they would be off by 8 o'clock. So
And I
we
do
would
want
not-
to just point out from our mapping position. Oh, wait, sorry. I'll go to this one. So I don't know if you can see my cursor, but
Mhm.
where you see the 3rd and 2nd grade, there's 2 houses there. One of those houses is actually grandparents of our kids, and they're out there watching every night. Then we have the building that is currently vacant due to the fire. So the only area that I think that's going to have and that we might need to move things around would be where that 6th grade practice is. And we would be very conscious of that. So we would love your feedback. If anybody has any concerns, as soon as we go on, even the first day that we put them on, we'd be happy to have individuals that might have a concern to come out and monitor it and tell us what their advice would be.
Right, we'll be
And we-
having the apartments being like completely empty and open. Everything across the street from that is available for all the noise and the sound, which I can attest to because I live there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great here in the practice and the kids. My only concern is the noise because it does, I mean, we have a generator. I know what one sounds like. So I'm trying to imagine 5 or 6 of them,
And
but
we-
that was
if
one
it-
of my concerns.
Okay.
If one concern was we had to move, just say the 6th grade, we could definitely take that further down towards that baseball field area. These
Yeah.
blocks are a little skewed on the bigger side than what a team of 20 kids take up. So we have no problem sliding 6th grade down more towards the pond area. I know we have flag down there, but there's still plenty of room even with flag that's down there,
All right, thank you.
which there's nobody down.
Yeah, our key thing is we'll work with you if you can work with us. We want this to be a very positive partnership that could potentially last for many years. We would love to find a local home for our organization, and this has really been a great experience for us. And I guess our biggest gotcha is the lights.
And that's, that's something, and I don't want to bog down this meeting with that discussion, but we I'm also on the board of Coventry Little League, and we rent some of your fields over at River Bend Park. And we have been, I don't know if successful is the right word, but both Coventry football and Coventry Little League, our participation has been growing over the last couple of years, where a lot of our surrounding organizations like Potsgrove, Pottstown, Pottsgrove, weren't even able to field a league this year, and we actually allowed them to form one team, or they had enough kids for one team that we allowed them in Coventry to be part of our league. So the kids in Pottstown who wanted to play baseball had somewhere to go. Same thing with Pottsgrove. They came in a little later once they got organized, and I think Pottsgrove was able to field 2 teams in each league, and we've agreed to let them come play us at Coventry, and we'd go play them over there. From a football perspective, Pottstown this year was not able to field a Pottstown PAL team this year. For whatever reason, they could not get the participation. But we've been growing. We're part of this community. We want to partner, I guess, with the townships. And after we get through this, both football and baseball, maybe we talk to rugby and such, how we can help partner improve some of the facilities that are in the township. We have members in our organizations that are in the construction industry and some of the other that could probably bring in equipment and do some things to improve some of the lands and facilities that the township has to make them more usable for the community. I Googled, or not Googled, I went on the Chester County tax map and tried to look at all the properties. I don't know, somebody's got an echo going on somewhere. Look at all the properties that North Coventry owned, and I know some of them have been acquired to preserve purely as open space, but there are a lot of areas out there that potentially could be useful, usable park areas if we partnered together in the future and tried to grade them out and create areas where they could be usable, and even partner with the ability for some of our organizations to take some of the responsibility for maintaining them as well if we improve them for you. So tonight we've moved our Coventry football has moved their practice into North Coventry. This is our first step in trying to make something work here, but we're open to all kinds of things that the township, I'm not aware of what your park and rec plans are with some of these open space areas, but would be like to entertain working with you to try to come up with something that's good for the benefit the kids of our communities.
So with that, I just want to say again, thank you so much for your time. We do want to give a special thank you out to Sergeant Zinger. He has been very, very supportive, very helpful, especially with the areas of the parking plan, coming back to us afterwards and giving us feedback. Actually, I think it was actually very positive feedback, correct, Joe? He was impressed, I think was the word that he used. But again, working with the township is our intention and goal. Mrs. Deal has been amazing, and thank her for organizing, just getting us the use of Kenilworth Park, and as well as for your time between yourselves and the Board of Supervisors. We know that it takes a village and we really appreciate the time and efforts that you give in. And we just want you to walk away today to say, we're an organization that'll work with you, and we're here 100% for the kids.